What is up, YouTube? It's your boy King of Thrift, back with another video today. Today's video is going to be a little different from my other videos. This is going to be the first video in a series of weekly videos that I will be doing, and it's called Saturday Confessionals. And what I'm going to be going over on these weekly videos are my struggles and some of the hardships that I faced on my way up in this game. So let's get right into it. This first video I like to call The Breakfast Burrito Story.
I said adrift, baby, floating down in H-Town on highways of twist, baby. I hit the toll road.
Alright, thanks for tuning in, guys. For those of you who have been to my channel before, welcome back. And for those of you who have never been here, this channel is devoted to helping you succeed on eBay, helping you learn how you can work from home, be your own boss, and create the life that you love. Today's video is going to be over a time when eBay actually canceled my account. And you know, I was sort of between a rock and a hard place. This was many years ago when I first started, and I had been actually a few years into the game. Basically, my account got suspended over a Vero, and if you're not sure what Vero is, look it up. eBay will actually Vero your account if they think something that you're listing is counterfeit, or if a company complains that you're listing something that is their merchandise and you're unable to list that. So you know, the way that it goes is you get a couple of strikes on your account for a Vero, and eBay will suspend your account. So I guess you could call this the dark side of eBay. 9 times out of 10, you know, if you follow the rules and you're careful, you're not going to have this problem. But like I said, this was many years ago. I was new to the game. I was on my way up, and you know, this was just something that happened. You know, unfortunately, we can't foresee all the problems and, you know, struggles and hardships in our life that may come our way. So nonetheless, this is what happened. So eBay did suspend my account, and basically it was suspended indefinitely. And you know, I was like I said, between a rock and a hard place, and I didn't know what to do at the time. So after my account was under suspension, you know, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I do have an affinity for food, and you know, I did work in the food business. I actually used to manage a restaurant back in the day, and for me, you know, I just decided, let's go sell breakfast burritos. You know, I had a plan, I had an idea, and my idea was to go downtown, which I did, and here in H-Town, here in Houston, and locate a couple of very large factories. And I said, you know, I think that we can sneak into these factories, you know, before the sun comes up, before the guards get there, and sell breakfast burritos to these guys. So that's what I did. You know, that first day, you know, we were up at 3 a.m. and you know, we had the music cranking, and it was me and my wife was helping me, and you know, we were cooking up chorizo and eggs, those little cubed potatoes, and so, you know, chopping cilantro. I mean, we were actually making authentic Tex-Mex style breakfast burritos, and those are big around here. And basically the recipes, if you've never had them, they're delicious. It's one of my favorites. We have a lot of taquerias, you know, around in the Houston area, and they do sell authentic, you know, Tex-Mex breakfast burritos, and they consist of eggs, refried beans, cilantro, pico de gallo, and little cubed potatoes, and that's basically it. You know, then everybody, you know, might throw some salsa on there, but that's what it is. So I said, you know, these are what we're going to sell. So, you know, we made up a bunch of them, and we headed down to the factory the first morning. My wife actually came with me, you know, for support, and you know, to kind of help me out. And you know, we snuck in this place, and we were up at 3 a.m. guys, you know, cooking. And you know, I'm cooking 15 eggs over there in a pot. You know, like I said, we got the music cranked up, you know, because we're trying to get hype. You know, we're trying to get hype to you know, to sell these burritos. And I mean, that first day, guys, I mean, that first day was no punk, let me tell you that. My wife was scared out of her mind. You know, for me, it wasn't that big a deal, even though this particular factory that I located, it was a predominantly Hispanic workers, and a lot of these guys didn't even speak English, which I didn't know until I got out there and I was approaching them. And you know, I would come up to them and I was asking if they wanted to buy breakfast burritos, and they just look at me like I was crazy. I quickly learned that you know, I needed to learn a few key phrases, and you know, I learned chorizo and huevos, con frijoles, and that means sausage, eggs, and refried beans. So you know, that's what I would come to these guys, and you know, I don't know if they were, I think they were really surprised to see, you know, some crazy, you know, I was actually dressed actually in a white shirt like I have on now, you know, as you can see here. But that's what I was wearing. You know, it was sort of you know, the uniform that I'd come up with, you know, to make us look more official. And so I would go out there, and you know, I said, hey, you know, 2 for $3. You know, we got two burritos, 2 breakfast burritos for $3. And I would tell them what that was on them. You know, chorizo, huevos, con frijoles. And you know, believe it or not, these guys received us pretty well. And you know, I think that first day we ended up making about $200. So after the first factory, we would head you know, to another side of town that I knew pretty well. And I decided, you know, we were just going to go business to business to business. And you know, that's what we did. You know, we would hit one business. I'd, you know, go inside, and you know, a lot of these businesses say, you know, no soliciting, but I mean, I just totally ignored that. You know, I mean, I figured people need breakfast. You know, people are hungry. These people are at work. You know, we're there. It's like 8 a.m. in the morning. You know, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, and you know, we got fresh hot breakfast here, breakfast burritos, man. And you know, like I said, we were pretty well received. I mean, we were selling that first day. I think we sold about of the different places we went to, we probably sold to 30% of them. You know, maybe 50%, somewhere around there. But you know, after that first day, you know, that first week actually was pretty difficult. You know, my wife was, you know, kind of salesman, so I was selling everything. She was just sort of, you know, keeping me. She was sort of like the ammo supply for the gunner. You know what I'm saying? She would make sure that everything was ready to go for me when I ran back to the car. I could grab a couple more burritos or 10 burritos, you know, depending on how many people were out there. And you know, I would creep up on these people in the night. You know, I mean, when we went into this factory, it was actually dark. You know, we were there at like 4:30, I think, or maybe 5 a.m. Like I said, before the guards actually got there. And you know, we'd sneak in there and park. And you know, before anyone got there, you know, even the guards, and wait for the you know, workers to show up. And as they showed up, I would jump out of the car and you know, chase them down and, you know, try to sell them some of our burritos, some of our tasty, delicious breakfast burritos. And you know, that's what we did. And believe it or not, like I said, you know, after we left there, we would roll across the other side of town and you know, sell business to business. And let me tell you, this is different. I mean, this is you know, I've been a salesman. I'm no stranger to, you know, selling to people or cold calling people or anything like that. So it wasn't that big a deal. But that first day was a little difficult. I got to tell you, I was a little nervous, you know, walking into these businesses and, you know, trying to sell them breakfast burritos. But you know, we that first week, like I said, we made about you know, maybe $300, maybe $350 that first week, which wasn't that great, you know, for 5 days, you know. But that second week, you know, we hit over about $650, and by the end of that third week, I mean, we were pushing you know, almost $900. And you know, I had already calculated by that fourth week we should have made $1,200 that week. So we were not doing bad. You know, that's how it went, guys. You know, I mean, it's called, you know, doing what you got to do to survive. And that's what I did. You know, I did not have other things in place. I didn't have you know, any sort of backup, and you know, I had to survive. So that's what I did. And that's what I like to call the breakfast burrito story. So remember, guys, you know, things can be tough, and it might be hard coming up in this eBay game, or you know, and honestly, it's a lot easier for you guys today versus back then. You know, whenever I was hustling and I was coming up in the game, you know, there was no one on YouTube who would show you anything as far as, you know, how to sell anything. You know, no one really knew. The game was new back then. So, you know, if anyone would have made videos, I would have had to make them myself, which I didn't know anything. You know, I was figuring things out as I went. So, you know, I made a lot of mistakes. But that was one of the things that, you know, one of the struggles and hardships that we went through, you know, coming up in this game. I guess, you know, the moral of the story is, you know, don't be afraid to hustle. You know, don't be afraid to step outside the box, outside your comfort zone, you know, when you have to. You know, you got to do what you got to do to survive. And, you know, everything's not always going to be, you know, rainbows and fairy dust, you know. So, you know, just be prepared for, you know, it to not just be, you know, the road that's paved with golden bricks, so to speak. Even though, you know, there are a lot of good YouTubers on here that can help you along your way. They can show you a lot of the, you know, they can help you along as far as, you know, what to do, what not to do, and this channel being one of them. And by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. That's it, guys. I just wanted to drop a quick video for this Saturday confessional, and we'll be doing another one next week. So I hope you guys tune in. If you like this video, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And until our next video, be good, guys. Peace out. Peace out.
Gang, man.